Immigrant, and I love this country, and so
outstanding.
I'll answer some questions for you.
Okay, and your name, sir?
It's Daniel.
Daniel, okay, and Daniel is from Romania. How long have you been here?
Just a touch closer, Eileen.
All right, good.
There you go.
Closer.
Perfect.
Okay, and how long have you been politically active?
Probably about 10 years ago or so.
Okay. So have you been following healthcare for a long time leading up to this?
Absolutely, and what was going on with the country for the last 12 years, 14 years or so at that time.
Okay, so what part of the country do you live in now?
We live in North Carolina now.
Okay.
I was in South Florida for 21 years, and 5 years ago we moved to North Carolina.
Okay, and what was the tipping point that made you decide you needed to come up here today?
Well, let me first tell you, when we first came to this country in '85, Reagan was in charge, and we've seen the misery that people, and my father, by the way, came here in '81, escaped the communist regime. We waited 3.5 years to be reunited with him, me, my mother, and my sister. And in '85, we finally made it, the beginning of '85, and I seen how bad it was before. My father was telling me how the gas was $3 and blah, blah, blah. And when I got in, things were getting much better, 85, 86, 87. By 88, gas dropped down to 91, 92 cents, and I kind of figured out who's in charge. And they said, well, it's Reagan. I said, what party is he? Republican. I said, hey, that's what I am. I said, this guy stands for freedom, for free enterprise, and ever since, I stood for conservatism and stuff like that. Now, I didn't care much about politics for the rest of the 8-10 years. I was young, didn't bother me that much. But about 12-14 years, I got involved more seriously because I'm concerned. I've got 4 children, that I care about my children. I want them to have the same freedom we've had, me and my wife, as immigrants and my parents. And so I decided 12-14 years ago to get involved. And now, seeing how far along these socialists and communists that are basing their views on Marx, on Polinsky, who's a follower of Marx, by the way, how much the influences of Obama from Bill Ayers to Jeremiah Wright, who, by the way, I don't know if you heard his last speeches. I challenged
just a couple weeks ago, right?
Just about 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And you can clearly see that these guys are true communists at heart. And so, of course, I am gravely concerned, just like the majority of all the people here. Right. So I appreciate that you guys are asking me, but I believe I represent many of the views of the people here. And we are very, very, very concerned about where this country is going. We want the government to leave us alone. We want to live in peace and in freedom. We want to be prosperous, but the prosperity and freedom it's only going to happen if the government does not encroach in our lives.
So as somebody who lives behind the Iron Curtain, how much danger do you think America is in right now of making a transition to becoming a truly socialized state?
I'll give you a short answer. I gave you a very long one before.
Okay.
Much more than you guys here realize. Because you people here, and I say it in a good way when I say you people, that could be interpreted the wrong way, but the people that have grown up here and have enjoyed freedom, prosperity economically, no wars, none of that, which certainly you and your photographer have enjoyed, as I see by the image, do not realize what it means not to be able to speak. Had I spoke with you the way I speak here, after about a minute, somebody would have picked me up in Romania, would have taken me away, you would have never heard from me again. That's the kind of the gravity. Now, that took a while for them. It took a while for the communists to get there. It took about 5-10 years after they took over to really put a grip on the country, to put their secret forces in place, secret police, and all of those to control the masses, to take over the media, so that they can control and put their propaganda out. But it's just a matter of time. Now, what you and we have here that makes a difference between Romania, Poland, Czechoslovakia is that this country has the constitution that provides and guarantees the freedom. Those countries did not have it. It was more of a blur. It was a monarchy before, so it was much easier to transition to a totalitarian regime. And that's the only hope that these people have. But we are in grave danger. We are in terrible, terrible danger because, I'll tell you why, MSNBC, CNN, ABC, you name them, except maybe for Fox News and the radio talk show hosts, are the ones that are telling us the truth. And once you have the media sold out to these people, majority of the people will not be able to hear the truth. And once you always hear the propaganda, there are a lot of well-intended Americans that don't bother to come here. They sit home, they get snippets in between the baseball games and the football game, nothing wrong with the baseball and football, but they'll just get their Canadian politics a little bit here, a little bit there. Then they flip to CNN, to MSNBC, to Matthews that has a thing up his leg, Obama, and they get all excited and they say, wow, it's wonderful. And that's what they know. And the healthcare is wonderful. And the cap and trade tax is wonderful because we're all boiling warm. And look at us here. We have 50 degrees in the beginning of November. So all the lies that the propaganda machine is putting out, the people that are not very good in politics, they buy them because they're well-intelligent Americans. They don't want to be controversial. They don't want to be bothered much. So they get them.
So what would you tell your fellow Americans they need to be doing right now to stop this trend?
I think, first of all, get informed about why we're all worked up. Why do I spend my personal money? I took a day off with my wife, from our 4 children, and from our business, and the rest of the people here are probably in the same situation. Spend money on a day in a hotel, drive or fly, and eat. Find out why. Are we really crazy people, or do we really care about the freedom of this country? So find out what these people are trying to shove down our throats. Try to find out a little bit more about the bill, about the cap and tax. Try to find out about the deficit that this country is in and how much our children are in debt. And then see if you really can sit back and just continue to enjoy the freedom and the good life. And then they'll probably conclude that no, they got to do something. And what they can do is, if they don't want to come here, call your congressman, email them, talk to people. See, I'm talking to people. I was here talking. I enjoy talking, as you can tell, to people, but talk to people. Tell people about this. Sometimes they won't agree with you. Many times they don't agree with me. At the tennis club, at this or that, they don't agree with me. But challenge them to have an intelligent discussion. Unfortunately, many times a hardened liberal will not have an intelligent discussion. All they will do is they'll call me a bigot after the first 10 seconds. And I say, you're the bigot because you don't bring a valid political argument. But they will not be able to have a discussion. But even then, you never know. You might find one that's open-minded and they'll talk to you.
Right, so
talk to
you
people.
said that you have your own business?
Yes, I have a small business. I worked in the corporate world for the first 17 years. After
and so now you have your own business. What kind of business is
It's
it?
construction and remodeling, residential construction.
And so about how many employees do you have?
Right now, I'm down to myself, and everybody else is subcontracting for me because I just can't afford anybody to be on the payroll.
Yeah, so if this socialized medicine passes, what will it do to your business and your ability to hire people and get subcontractors?
Look, I'll tell you exactly what it's going to do. If you look at what they're trying to offer is, the offer that will be out there for the people that work for me is to go to the government. And what the government will do in the first year or couple of years, they'll make it affordable because they're putting out the first billions of dollars at first, and not everybody will be converted into the bill at first, in the first years. So they'll have few people converted to it with a lot of money thrown out. So it'll be very affordable because that's the trick. They always throw you a bone. And what I'm going to have to say is, hey, it's cheaper. I'm sorry, I can't afford to buy you guys insurance or to put you in a full insurance.